For decades, the Quartermain name has been synonymous with wealth, legacy, and chaos, a dynasty built on both brilliance and betrayal. Yet, even by Port Charles standards, what's happening now inside the hallowed halls of the family mansion feels like a reckoning long overdue. It begins not with an explosion or a scandalous affair, but with a quiet revelation, a single document, long hidden, that could restore balance or ignite an entirely new war among the Quartermains. Monica's will, long presumed settled, resurfaces in a form no one expected, exposing years of deceit and manipulation orchestrated by those who sought to control the family fortune. Tracy, hardened by a lifetime of loss and betrayal, had grown accustomed to disappointment. Her bitterness became armor, her cynicism a shield against the pain of watching her family crumble under greed. When the will was first read, declaring Veronica, Ronnie, barred as the heir to the mansion and leaving Tracy with nothing but a jar of Lila's old pickles, the humiliation was almost poetic, the cruelest joke fate could deliver. But beneath her steely demeanor, Tracy knew something was wrong. Monica would never disinherit her that way. For all their decades of rivalry, resentment, and biting words, there was always a strange bond, a shared respect born from surviving the same battlefield of betrayal that defined the Quartermain legacy. Meanwhile, Martin Gray had been quietly spinning his web of deceit. A master manipulator cloaked in charm and legal jargon, he knew the value of paperwork more than bullets. His alliance with Ronnie was pragmatic, she wanted control, and he wanted leverage. Together, they crafted a new version of Monica's will, one that subtly replaced a single name yet shifted the entire balance of power. What seemed like a harmless clerical edit became the spark that set fire to the heart of the Quartermain estate. With that forgery, Ronnie became heir to a fortune, and Tracy was reduced to a footnote in her own family history. But Port Charles has a way of revealing truth at the moment of greatest despair. When the real will finally surfaced, hidden deep within a sealed box Monica had left behind, the illusion shattered. Monica, ever the sentimental strategist, had left her mansion not to a stranger bound by blood, but to a sister bound by fire. Her words were clear, "To my dear sister." It was never Ronnie. It was always Tracy. The revelation hit the Quartermain home like an earthquake. The long corridors that once echoed with arguments and laughter now trembled with vindication. Tracy stood before the assembled family, the woman everyone had underestimated yet again, holding the truth in her hands. Decades of resentment, exile, and loss collapsed into a single moment of triumph. For the first time in years, she didn't need to fight to be heard, the ink on the paper spoke for her. In that silence, her eyes burned with both fury and relief, the culmination of everything she'd been denied. The irony was delicious. The woman once branded as heartless, selfish, and calculating was now revealed as the rightful heir, the guardian of the family's legacy. It wasn't about money or power anymore, it was about justice. Monica's decision, written with intention and love, proved that beneath every argument and every insult lay an unbreakable bond. They were sisters in spirit, tied not by perfection but by survival. Monica had seen through the noise and recognized Tracy's loyalty, a loyalty often buried beneath sarcasm and pride. For Martin and Ronnie, the fallout was swift and merciless. Their conspiracy, once hidden behind forged signatures and quiet confidence, was exposed for what it was, an act of betrayal against not just the Quartermaines, but the very notion of trust. Port Charles had seen many villains fall, but few as quietly and thoroughly as these two. The law might handle the technicalities, but Tracy's fury would handle the rest. She wasn't the type to forgive. She was the type to dismantle. As the dust settled, the true magnitude of the moment became clear. Tracy wasn't just reclaiming a house, she was reclaiming her place in history. For decades, every argument inside that mansion had ended with a reminder, "It's Monica's house." That phrase had haunted her, echoing through her failures and victories alike. But now, the tables turned. The house that had been her cage was now her throne. She didn't need to shout, her very presence commanded it. And when she finally spoke those 8 words, "This is my house, Monica gave it to me," it wasn't a boast. It was a declaration, the closing line to a chapter written in betrayal and redemption. From that day forward, everything inside the Quartermaine estate shifted. The portraits on the walls, once symbols of wealth, now looked down upon a woman who had endured every storm and still refused to fall. The staff moved differently, the energy changed, as if the very foundation of the mansion recognized its true master had returned. Even the ghosts of Alan, Edward, and Lila seemed to breathe easier. For once, a Quartermaine victory wasn't built on deceit but on truth. Yet, peace is never permanent in Port Charles. With the mansion restored, new questions began to rise. Would Tracy use her regained power to heal the family or to rule it with an iron hand? Her history suggested both outcomes were possible. And as whispers spread about Martin's other legal dealings and Ronnie's mysterious connections, it became clear that this battle might be over, but the war for control of the Quartermaine Empire had only just begun. Tracy, standing alone in the grand foyer that had once excluded her, felt the weight of both triumph and loneliness. Monica's final act of faith was a gift, but it was also a challenge, a reminder that power carries consequence. In the dim light of the chandelier, the house felt alive again, almost watchful. Every creak of the floorboard, every flicker of the candle seemed to echo Monica's silent question, "What will you do now, sister?" Her answer would define the next chapter of the Quartermaine saga. Because for all her bitterness, Tracy had always understood that family was both the poison and the cure. The mansion, once a symbol of her exclusion, was now her redemption, or her undoing. As she gazed out the window at the sprawling estate, the wind carried faint echoes of laughter, arguments, and ghosts of holidays past. The house wasn't just hers. It was a living reminder that the Quartermaines never truly die, they simply return, ready to fight again for the legacy that binds them together and tears them apart. In the end, Tracy's victory wasn't just about ownership. It was about survival. It was proof that no matter how many times she was cast out, she would always find her way back. Because the Quartermaine mansion wasn't just built on wealth or status. It was built on blood, and no forgery, betrayal, or manipulation could erase that truth. And as long as there's a Quartermain standing, the war for control will rage on, echoing through the marble halls, fueled by secrets, ambition, and the undying hunger to be the last one standing in the house that defines them all.